Chapter 8. Anon dodged Brent's fist, pivoting on his heel to land a swift kick to his ribs. Brent grunted, stumbling back. "How?" Brent wheezed, clutching his side. "You were nothing but a pest. Now you're stronger?" Anon said coldly. "Faster? Smarter? Face it, Brent. You can't beat me." Brent let out a roar and charged. Anon sidestepped, grabbing Brent's arm and flipping him onto his back. Brent crashed onto the stone courtyard, the impact knocking the air from his lungs. Anon stood over him, fists clenched. "Stay down." Brent struggled to stand. Anon tensed, ready to strike again. He didn't want to seriously hurt Brent, but he couldn't show mercy. Not now. Not when Brent and the rest of the Tesser family had made his life a living hell. Brent lunged, swinging his fists wildly. Anon dodged and blocked each blow, frustration boiling inside Brent after each missed strike. Finally, Anon had enough. He landed a punch to Brent's jaw, sending him sprawling. Brent lay motionless, blood dripping from his lips. Anon breathed heavily, glancing around the courtyard. The rest of the family stared at him with mixtures of shock, fear, and anger. His heart pounded as the realization hit him. A flicker of movement caught his eye. Brent was dragging himself across the stones, a knife glinting in his grip as he slashed at Anon's legs. With a snarl, Anon kicked the knife from Brent's hand and sent him tumbling head over heels. Brent crashed against the base of the courtyard wall and lay still, unconscious. Anon stood over Brent's broken body, the courtyard silent around him. His knuckles throbbed, and his chest heaved with each breath, but a fierce joy rose inside him. He had done it. He had finally proven himself. "Anon, stop!" Kara pushed through the crowd, horror etched into her face as she took in Brent's injuries. "You've already won. Don't kill him." Anon gritted his teeth. He's not dead. Yet. Kara grabbed his arm, panic in her eyes. "Anon, please. We're family." "Family?" Anon yanked his arm from her grasp. "Your family has never treated me as one of their own. I endured years of abuse at Brent's hands, and not once did any of you lift a finger to help me." "We made a mistake," Kara said softly. "I'm sorry for that. But this violence, it has to end. The violence will end when your family pays for its sins." Anon turned his back on her, staring down at Brent's unconscious form. His hand curled into a fist, itching to strike again. "Anon, don't do this," Kara pleaded. "If you kill him, there's no coming back from that." He hesitated, the anger and adrenaline clouding his thoughts. But one look at Kara's tear-filled eyes cut through the haze. She was right. If he killed Brent, he would destroy any chance of a future with Kara. And despite it all, that was something he couldn't give up. Anon took a deep breath and uncurled his fist. The violence was over. He had proven his point. Kara slipped her hand into his, relief etched on her face. "Thank you." A muscle in Anon's jaw twitched. "Get him out of my sight, now." Kara nodded and rushed to Brent's side, shouting for help from the others. They carried Brent into the manor, the door slamming behind them. Anon ran a hand through his hair, his chest tight. The rest of the family stared at him, with undisguised fear and anger. He had won the battle, but the war was just beginning. Anon packed up his few belongings and set off into the forest without a backwards glance. His path was clear. He would train, grow stronger, and one day return to face the family again. Kara found him 3 days later at the base of the mountains, a basket of food and supplies in hand. "I had to see you before you disappeared completely." She eyed his makeshift camp, a troubled frown on her face. "The life of a vagabond doesn't suit you." "I don't have a choice." Anon sat down beside the crackling fire and stared into the flames. "Your family made sure of that." Kara sat beside him, slipping her arm through his. "I'm still here. I still care about you, no matter what they say." Warmth blossomed in his chest, and he glanced at her, meeting her steady gaze. "Why? After everything I've done." "You did what you had to in order to protect yourself. I understand that now." Kara leaned her head on his shoulder. "You're not a monster, Anon. You're just a man who's been pushed too far." Anon pulled her closer, relishing her warmth and the comfort she brought. "As long as you believe in me, nothing else matters." "I will always believe in you," Kara whispered. And so their secret affair began. Kara visited Anon whenever she could, bringing supplies and news of Brent's slow recovery. Anon continued to train, pushing his newfound abilities to their limits. 3 months passed before Brent was back on his feet. In that time, Anon had mastered control of his enhanced speed and strength. His senses had sharpened to an extraordinary degree. He could hear a leaf fall from over a mile away. This is the end of Chapter 8.